you? Thank you so much for clicking play. Ways in which, actually not ways, one sure way that can tell you that somebody secretly resents you. The human face has certain movements that are not voluntary movements. I hope I pronounced that right. They are involuntary. What? English is not my first language. I'm a Kenyan. You move certain muscles. You express yourself in certain ways that are either voluntary or involuntary. You do it either instinctively or intentionally. You do it either instinctively or intentionally. Like muscle memory, you do it instinctively, sort of like innate. So you can either do something consciously or subconsciously. They are ways that we move our face, ways that we react to situations that are sometimes, they just are. It's not something you have to think about. It's not like I have to think, oh, how should I react here? And okay, I need somebody to feel better about themselves, so let me just flash them, a huge smile. For instance, if you're a young lady out alone for a walk and you notice that there's a stranger walking towards you and he volunteers a smile just to keep you at ease, right? So he thinks about it and then he does it consciously. He goes like, just so you know you're not in harm's way and you can pass him quietly without worrying, right? So he volunteers that emotion. But that's just an example. But apparently there are things we don't volunteer. They come naturally. It's innate. It's the way human beings evolved. And because of practice, we came to be able to hide them and mask them over time. So for instance, if a thief breaks into your house and you have kids and you go like, and then you notice your kids are looking at you like, Mom, help us, we are scared too. You will go like, it's okay, children, it's okay, I'll call the police. You've now changed the natural reaction, right, to a unnatural reaction, because when someone is breaking in and they're a stranger, it is unnatural to say, it's okay, it's not okay, it's not okay. But you have to say that so your kids don't worry, right? So there's the reaction that is the first reaction, right? And then the one that you learn over time and over practice as humans evolved to pretend. You learn over time to like, sort of like adapt to the environment. So I'll give you the example of the girl who I just found out. She's in my circles and I just found out she secretly hates me. I found it out and I thought, I'm so effing slow. My instinct, my radar had already warned me when we first met, but I ignored it because she was just so nice and helpful. And one time I needed help with my something in my house and she came over and she helped me build it. And one time I needed something else. Like, it was hard to tell what my instinct was speaking. That's why you're told, like, your first instinct, that sixth sense, that, first thing that comes is normally the right one. Not always, but most of the times it is, because your subconscious mind has a pattern of people who've acted a certain way in your life. And so when it picks it. The radar goes up and it tells you, be careful with this one. So I ignored, and of course that was a mistake. But now I know for sure why I had that feeling when I first met her. She does secretly hate me. So again, I stumbled on this, this method, this thing, I discovered it accidentally. My sister called me and we had a conversation and I was very upset with her, with my sister. And I said, I can't believe you did that. And you're even calling me to tell me. What did you think I will tell you that I will, like we had a big argument. And my sister was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't calling you so you can judge me. And we went back and forth with one another. And I'm like, I'm not judging you. I'm asking you as your sister to be accountable. Be accountable. And she was like, shut up, you self-righteous bitch. And we went back and forth with one another. And I'm like, then why did you call me then? And I hung up on her. So we went months without speaking. Now we are good because, again, sisters. And I went to this lady and I said, "Oh, I feel so bad because I think me and my sister will never talk again." And I was looking at her and her face lit up. And she quickly said, "Oh, that is so sad. What happened?" I could not shake off the fact that I just saw her face light up. Her eyes, the pupils dilated. Like, these are now the involuntary. So, like, there's the what you volunteer, the emotions you volunteer, and the ones that happen instinctively. You cannot control how your pupils react to something you just had or saw. If you see a beautiful sunset and you go like, the way your eyes will react, the way your muscles will move, the way your mouth will react, whatever will come out of you, that first few seconds you can't control.
Wow.
I did not know that, right? And then you can then pretend after a few seconds. So apparently this is something that has been researched, and it is a maximum of, I don't know, 23 seconds or something like that. I have to read up on that again. Her face lit up. She had a little smile at the corner of her mouth. Not a complete smile, like, just like, for a few seconds I caught it. So then I thought, no, 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 no. She's my friend. That's not possible. I must have misread something there. Maybe she was thinking about something else. Maybe at that very second she read something. Maybe I made all sorts of excuses, but I just could not shake off the fact that I told her that I had a huge fight with my sister and I think we will never talk again. And her whole face had lit up. I came home and I told my husband, I told her that me and I don't want to mention my sister, we were arguing and fighting, and she just went like, she was excited for a few seconds, and my husband was like, "Probably you want to be careful about her." And I'm like, "No, she's my friend. No, 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 no." Still, I could not shake that off. I had seen what I had seen. So now I tested her. Recently, I was in Spain. If you've been following me on Instagram or you're on my YouTube channel, you know that already because I shared videos and pictures on my Instagram. So I went to her and I told her about Spain, right? But in a very modest way. I made sure not to brag. I made sure to make it seem like, I've never seen such nice villas. I'm very humbled that I was able to stay in one by the beach in a very nice, modest way. Like, not like, "Oh my God, you cannot believe I was being shuffled around and all the nice politicians who I went and met in the galas." I wasn't like that. I was just like, "Oh," and then I met the mayor, because if you've been following me, I went to Spain and I attended political galas, and it was really nice. I went to like cocktails and dinner parties. So anyways, I told her in a very modest way, like, "Oh, I'm so humbled that I met so and so. I met one woman who was named one of 25 most influential people on earth by Rolling Stone magazine. She has some kind of accolade, and she invited me to brunch." So I just had a very nice time, and I told her in the most modest of ways. She rolled her eyes for a few seconds, not like direct, not like, no. I caught her. I caught it. She rolled her eyes like for a few seconds, like a very discreet way, and for very few seconds. And her mouth, do you remember her mouth had gone like that, like a side smile at first? Now it went like that. It went the other direction in a not very pleased way, like I was a bore. And I caught it, and now my theory was right the first time. She was happy, and now I caught. So basically, this is my example, but I am telling you all this to tell you, watch the first few seconds, the first reactions when you tell somebody bad news about yourself. Test them and tell them good news about yourself. Do those reactions match? If not, you just got them. On your screen right now is anthropologist Dr. Paul Ekman. He traveled the world with a theory. His theory was that there is something called microexpression and something called macroexpression. So, microexpression is the involuntary facial expression, the natural one, the instinctive one. It comes naturally. And then the macro expression is the one that you express after thinking about a situation. So he brought that theory to life by living with people from different cultures all over the world, and he found 7 main emotions in humans: happiness, sadness, anger, disgust, contempt, fear, and surprise. And they can all be either micro expressed or macro expressed. A micro expression can last anywhere from 1 second to 25 seconds. People with anti-personality disorder, people with dark traits, sociopaths, psychopaths, they have sort of like perfected the way they express themselves to mislead others. So you might not catch it very quickly. And that's why in criminal investigations, sometimes they bring in an expert, a scientist, a body language expert to catch it quicker than we, the members of the general public who are not trained. You caught them. I thought, oh my gosh, what is that? And then I Googled it. I went on YouTube. I watched videos. It's a whole theory. Scientists know about it. I'm not the first one to notice it. And I think I come from a little bit of a naive place where that is concerned, because I'm always the kind of person who thinks, I would never be happy if something terrible happens to someone. And so, because I think this way, I've always been sort of kind of like naive, thinking that everybody else thinks that way. And that's why my dad, he's always like, listen, how many times do I have to tell you this? Just because you don't eat lions doesn't mean that when you meet a lion, it's not going to eat you. A lion will devour you. It's what they do. So don't think that just because you don't do little evil things or like sociopathic things, it means that everybody else doesn't do it. Just because you don't hate on people, it means that everybody else doesn't hate on you or hate on others. They can, and a lot of them do, right? Don't be that naive, because for me, again, I had to check my naivety. I had to be like, well, dad always says, just because you don't eat lions doesn't mean a lion will not eat you. They will eat you. It's what they do. So I had to step back and accept that she doesn't like me, right? I had to be like, we are not on the same team. So now I completely know what she is, and I minimize our interactions, even though I'm somewhere where I have to see her. But that was something. That was something. She was glad that I had fallen out with my sister. And then all of a sudden, she was ticked off that I was telling her about my nice trip to Spain. And she actually went around telling people that I was bragging, even though I made an effort not to. So people are like, oh, she was telling us how you were like showing up, blah, blah. I'm like, there, I caught her. I caught this bitch. She doesn't like me. Now you know. So if you want to know if somebody secretly hates you, tell them something bad about yourself, and then tell them something lovely or nice about yourself, or something nice that happened to you. You'll have your answer. Thank you for watching.